Hello, 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 and welcome back to LaserBeam Live. This is episode number 36. My name is Ikenna for CNC Labs, and whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. I have no idea how this stream is going to look, how it's going to be coming on your end, because I am hotspotting my internet right now. Fluke issue. I've lived in this condo for a few months now, and I've never had any issues with the internet. I get 3 to 500 down speed, on my 500 megabytes per second down speed, and I've always had incredible internet here. And today, my router just wanted to like factory reset automatically. Didn't press any buttons, didn't do anything, and now it won't reconnect. So I don't know how this stream is going to look. You guys let me know if you guys are hearing me well, if you guys are seeing me well. I will find out when it gets at the end of the stream. I'll see how it looks in terms of how it's saved. But you guys can let me know how you guys are experiencing it live, if you guys are having a dip in quality, a dip in sound. Everything looks pretty good on my end, but I am using my phone to hotspot right now. So I do not trust this connection at all. So okay, that's good to hear. We got a few all goods. Okay, let's just jump right into it and hope that we stay all good. A little soft on the sound here. Let me bump the sound up real quick. All right, how's that, guys? Just bump the sound up a little bit. All right, let's say hi to everybody. Hello, Bill. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Nicholas, thanks for coming back. Jack in the shop, resident laser demon. Steve, Alan, Dana, Eric. How you doing? Thank you so much. We are jumping right into it. Today we're doing a simple project. So I bought these little, I think they're stainless steel little necklaces. I got a whole bunch of them. I think it was like 20 for like 20 bucks. So guys, if you want to actually give this to somebody, hey John, how you doing? If you actually want to make something for somebody that you care about and you want it to be a little bit more expensive, then maybe don't do what I did. I just wanted to get the cheapest amount so I could just start playing with things and show you guys what's possible. But we're gonna do a similar project to the last couple ones where instead of an ornament, we're gonna be looking to cut acrylic and we're gonna be putting it on this little necklace, this little C-clamp necklace, stainless steel that we got from Amazon. So I thought this would be a cool project. And I thought it would be a simple project that we could cut. Oh, there goes Zeus. Heard somebody at the door. Typical dog. And so let's just jump right into it. This time, I'm actually not going to be like taking a design from anywhere or engraving an image because we are doing acrylic. We are actually going to start playing with some of the shape tools in Lightburn. So we're just going to mess around and we're going to see what we can create, and then we're going to cut it out of 1/8 inch acrylic. We have raised our material again so that we can have a better time cutting, and then we'll go from there. So let's kind of jump right into it. So we got Lightburn here, and we are going to just use the shapes, and we're going to use all these little tools on the side, and we're just going to kind of play around with things until we have something that looks kind of cool and original and something that we might want to cut out. And we're just going to play out. So I think I'm going to need about a 4mm circle. I could be totally wrong, but I think this one end, if I want to feed it through, I'm going to need about a 4mm circle to feed this side through. So, and then I kind of want to figure out my general dimensions. So I don't want this thing to be too big. I honestly think like, 1200 millimeters. Sorry. 250 millimeters. Actually, 25 millimeters by, what should the width be? Let's just do 12, like 25 by 12.5. So we got a bit of a rectangular shape here. So I have that in my mind as like my general dimensions here. So I'm just going to make a box. And I'm going to go up to our dimension tool up here, and we are going to do 25. Sorry, with the width is going to be 12.5, and the height is going to be 25. And then we're going to set that 0, 0 in terms of our origin point. So it's right on the corner here. So that is kind of our work area for creating a pendant here. Okay, so we want to start with that 4mm circle, and we want it to be around the top. So I'm just going to create this, and we will go 4 by 4. Let's get rid of this. And we need this to be the center of this. So I think it wants to snap at center. No. Okay, so we can change this. And we can, so I have my circle selected, and then I select the tool. And then I want to use these alignment tools up here. So align selected objects vertically. So I have both of my shapes selected. So if I click that, so align V center. So boom. So now I'm aligned centered. And I should have about like 1 millimeter of space between the edge. So maybe I want to drop that down a little bit. Sorry. Don't want to move this, so gonna go back. Okay. So because this is such a small gap, you know, this is 4 millimeters. I'm guessing around 1 millimeter, 1.25 millimeters gap here. We don't want that to be too small because then this will be flimsy because we're only using 1/8 inch thick acrylic. So I kind of just want to, move this down just a little bit. So I'll use the X position. Sorry, I'll use the Y position and I'll move that down a couple millimeters. So it's at 21.8. So I'll move it down to 20. Okay. And then I just want to select both to make sure that I am still nice and centered there. Okay. So we have our general outline, our box, and we have our hole. Now I kind of just want to freestyle a little bit. So, what tools do we want to use? We can draw. We can create intersecting shapes and then start cutting. Is the hole for the chain, or will there be a separate ring? The hole is for the chain. So I'm just making something simple. I'm just gonna feed the little chain through it. Obviously, depending on how your mounting bit for the chain or the necklace that you're doing, like the hardware that you have for your necklace, you could obviously design something a little bit different, but I'm just making something simple that I could just feed it through. Dieter, how you doing? Thanks for joining. And Greg, thanks for asking the question. So we have a few different options here. So I can kind of like, okay, so let's see what we want to do. So if I match the width here, let's say I lock dimensions. Actually, I don't want to lock dimensions, but let's say I match the width to 12.5 and then move that 0. Oh, let's turn that back here, and then let's move this to 0. And then let's change this to 25, and let's move that here. Okay, So I actually want this to be the outside shape. So I don't want this to be a box. I just made this outside box. And I'll even change the color just so you guys can see. I'll change it to orange because it's like almost like I'm using it almost like a framing tool for my design. So that is like the dimensions. This is the hole that the chain is going to run through. And then I like these curved edges, so I do like this. But that's super simple, and that's a little bit too easy. So let's grab another tool. And let's go edit nodes. So do we have nodes here? No, we don't. Add tabs, create a shape. We have Boolean intersection. We have Boolean subtract. Boolean union. And weld. Okay, so let's play around with some of these welding tools. So if let me grab another color for this. Let me go undo, unselect. So now let me grab another color. Let's grab green. So let's say I want to, I want to essentially carve that piece out. So I want this to be a little bit bigger. And then I kind of want it to intersect, kind of like that. Yeah, I actually do like that a lot. I like that this creates a little bit of like a hook. Okay, so let's say I want to get rid of the intersection lines here. Let's see what we can do. So let's select this circle that we just created, and let's select our outer circle. So these are the circles that we want to interact. And I want to get rid of this black line on the inside. What Boolean tool do we have to use? So subtract one shape from another, or are we using the Boolean intersection? So do we want to keep the inside? No, we want to keep the outside. So I think I'm going to use subtract. Oh. Okay, so wrong side. So we actually want, maybe it's the order in which I select. So if I select black first, then green, then use the subtract tool. Yeah, so it was the order in which I selected. So that's kind of what I wanted here. I wanted to create this little shape. Let's see, do we have nodes here? Yes, we do. So I don't want this to be sharp. So I selected edit nodes. And I kind of want to get rid of this sharp edge here. Oh yeah, it is a bottle open. Unfortunately, it'll be 1/8 acrylic, so it would never actually open a bottle. So just moving things around like this, I'm creating like a softer edge here. So all I did was pull one of the nodes up, and then I used one of these, spline edits to round out that edge here. Yeah, just like Doug said in the chat, order of operation is going to be super important to get the desired kind of output here. So I like the way that looks. Now I want to fix the same thing here. I want to get rid of any sharp edges, just because with acrylic, especially 1/8 inch acrylic, I don't want a situation where anything could potentially break, like the edge could break. So let me go back actually. Let me move this up, and then I can, oh. So so how can we get a softer edge here? Do we want to edit? Nope, I do like the angle of that, so I do want to I'm gonna have to manually I don't think undoing is going to change my my spline edits, so I'm going to have to manually get that back to where I want it to be. I do want to get rid of this curved edge, so let's figure out how we can do that. So I kind of just straighten this one out. And then we want to honestly, it doesn't look the best, but yeah, honestly, it doesn't look the best, but we can attach that here. Oh, and then boom. Okay, there we go. So let's clean anything up here. Can we we'll snap it there? There's no overlapping lines, and then because we made this little spline almost parallel to the line it's connected to, created a nicer curve. All right. So I've never really used Lightburn to actually like edit designs like this, but I figured we might as well, because sometimes I like to do things quick and I like to just find cool designs. Can you remove some of the nodes, then get the curve where you need it? Yes. So I did it in a roundabout way, where I essentially snapped one node to the other, but I'm sure there is a way that you can do that just by completely removing a node. So let's hover. So guys, if you ever hover over something on Lightburn, you're gonna get a description of what it does. So so we can see if there's anything else. So we could have used this tool to round our edges. So we were playing with the nodes, but we could have just used this tool to round edges. So keep that in mind, and then you can change the radius here. And set shape start point. Don't need that. So can we delete nodes? Line selected. So there are some. So D. So if we hit D, I don't want to do it here, so maybe I'll grab another. And yeah, and then we can. I think because it's a perfect circle, has no nodes, so it's just a regular shape. Hey Kenny, thanks for joining even though you're at work. We appreciate it. So let me do if I do two overlapping, and then I do the same thing that we did before. So I select that, and I select that, and then I do this. Okay, then we should have some nodes to play with here. So shortcut is D to delete nodes. So let's say this one is causing me problems. I can just hit the D on my keyboard and delete that node. And then let's say this one is causing me some problems. I can hit D. delete that node. And then let's say I want to just round some edges here. I can select this, or maybe I can't. Let's see if I can. How do I use this tool? Okay. Okay, maybe I have to exit the node editing tool. Nope. Okay, maybe we'll figure out this tool another time. So we know we're able to delete nodes, and then we just manually edited our nodes. But hey, okay, let's get back to it. I want to put another random shape in here, just so it cuts out. Just to create like a cool little cutout. I might even copy this, paste it, move it like that, and then cut this out. Just so we have this like super weird little design. So I selected this shape first, then this shape, then I'm hitting Boolean subtract. All right. And then same thing, I want to smooth out these edges. So maybe we'll try the radius tool one more time. See if we can, oh, there we go. It's doing something. Let's try to raise the radius tool. Nope, that didn't work. I'm just clicking random, but I'm button mashing right now. Okay, so I went back. Radius tool. All right, that's not gonna work. Or at least I don't know how to make it work as of right now. So I'm gonna go back to edit nodes and see if I can, curve that edge out. Seems the easiest way to create a curve with a node is just to take the closest line here and just align it to the next line like that. And then you create like a pretty nice little curve there. I kind of like this shape, it's like very weird, and I kind of like that. So why don't we give this one a try? So we do want this to cut out of 1/8 inch acrylic. Yeah, a little shark fin action, yeah. So let's throw in our settings. So I think last time we used 2.2. I think we can get away with using 2.5, but let's just keep it 2.2, 100%. Oh, let's change this to our red setting, and let's see what's auto set there. So let's select our lines here, and let's select red. All right, boom, boom, boom. We got 2 millimeters per second. I think we can do like 2.2. Got 100% power. We got 8 passes. I don't think we need 8 passes. I think we're gonna get away with 4 max. And then we have 0.5, but we have to raise that because we lowered our passes. So 0.7, 0.75, it's a 1/8 inch thick, which is a little bit thicker than 3 millimeters, 3.175, I believe. So I think 3.75 will be fine. it looks like we are all good here for passes. This needs to be a framing so that it doesn't actually try to, you know, the T1 and T2 color at the bottom here, you might not see it in the stream, but at the bottom of Lightburn, 2 of the colors have a T2 and a T1 reference on them. Those are used just for like internal framing, like how I just used it to design. It shouldn't have any output. So I can even turn off the frame tool so that like it doesn't even use it as a reference tool when G-Sender or Lightburn is trying to frame. So I can get rid of that. I just wanted to use it as like a design frame for sizing. So this looks pretty good. I like it. I'm going to save G-code. I'm gonna save it as Shark V1. I'm just gonna put the .nc just to be safe. So Shark v1.nc. I'm gonna go ahead and open up G-Sender. And guys, always double check your, I'm just gonna connect here. Always double check your S value max in Lightburn. Always make sure that that matches your $. And guys, I'm gonna say it again because they are currently fixing the issue. But if you go to firmware here and you are trying to set $31 as 0 and it won't set as 0, then you need to go to console and you need to type in $31 equals 0, and then you can click $, enter, and then you can see, go up, scroll up to $31 and make sure that that equals 0. That will manually override the change, even if it won't let you change it to 0 in this firmware widget right here. The G-Sender team is working hard to fix that. Just please be patient with us there. So make sure that $30 always matches your S value max. It could be 255 is a good number, 1000 is a good number. It really doesn't matter, but those are 2 of the better numbers, but it really doesn't matter as long as they are both the same. Our laser mode is enabled, so we are kind of good to go. Let's open this up. Open up Shark V2. I'm going to 0 all. So we're starting at the bottom here. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my my long mill and everything and my laser. All right. So let me give you guys a good camera view now. All right, we got our laser, we got our everything set. I believe I didn't touch my 0, so it should be fine. It should be focused like it was last time, but I'm just gonna double check it. I'm just gonna move it over to one of these corners where I want my start point to be. I'm gonna go to the spindle tab, it's at 1%. I'm gonna put laser on. I'm just going to quickly make sure I'm above my material. Obviously, if you don't want to mark your actual work material, then use a scrap piece above it. But it does look pretty focused. But I'm just gonna go double check because I remember last few streams, we had a lot of issues with things not being perfectly focused and that making it extremely hard to cut. We don't really want a repeat of last time. So we're probably around like 28 millimeters, so I could raise it. But honestly, it should focus in that range, so I'm just gonna turn it on. and make sure that we're as focused as could be. So I'm gonna just turn off the laser for 1 second. I'm going to remove my air assist. Oh, if this will turn, there we go. I'm just gonna clip off my air assist here. Let me loosen it some more. Should peel off. And then I'm just gonna focus it so I can perfectly see. I don't really want to be guessing. So let's go turn that back on. And we want our smallest beam size. So when I think it's small, I'm going to keep going, and then it gets bigger, and then I'm going to tailor it back. And then I'm just going to put my air assist back on. And I'm just going to dial that all back in. There we go. Look all good. Guys, one thing that I have not tested is this is a much lighter color of acrylic. It is still opaque acrylic, but different colors of acrylic are going to engrave differently because of the color, the wavelength, how that wavelength interacts with the wavelength of the laser. So this is like a very baby blue matte acrylic. It is opaque, but I'm not 100% sure it's going to absorb power like it usually does with like the dark greens or the dark blues or the blacks especially. So you might have to run it a little bit big, like more passes, but that's because of the color, not because of any cutting detail. So we have it raised, so it should cut really well, but just keep in mind that color is always going to make a big difference, especially like stuff like acrylic, because it is shiny. Just like, you know, if you were to do transparent acrylic, your light would go right through. So just know that it is interacting with your acrylic, and certain acrylics are going to be better, certain acrylics are going to be worse. So just keep that in mind. We will find out how well this is going to cut right now. So I'll zero everything here, and we can go ahead and start this job and see what happens. So hopefully we have some cutting going down. Might be a little bit hard to see just because the air assist is blocking. But hopefully we're getting some cool cuts. The thing about acrylic is that because it heats up and it almost kind of melts, if it heats up very quickly and it cuts all the way through, but then it cools down also very quickly, sometimes you can run into a situation where your acrylic will cool down and re-solidify, so it kind of liquefies a little bit, and you want to do a clean cut to the point where like your piece is not going to be able to reattach. But sometimes that is one of the trickier things with acrylic, is that it can almost reattach itself because it gets really hot and it cuts through, but it goes from this plastic to this almost like liquid, and of course it evaporates, it turns into smoke, a particulate, but some of it does kind of stay. And if your part doesn't like fall through and it stays there and it wasn't 100% cut through, it might solidify again as things cool off and reattach itself. So that has definitely happened to me. And sometimes it reattaches itself very well, but sometimes it's just like a quick little pop that gets the things out because it did cut all the way through. And it's like a weaker bond when the material reattaches by cooling off. So it's about to finish its last pass. Yeah, so just like what Scott said in the chat, the same thing can happen when you're cutting like plastic with bits, is because that bit is running so fast that it's creating a lot of heat. It can melt that plastic. And then when your bit moves, I'm going to run it again just to be safe. Might as well. That was a super quick job. So when your bit moves, the material starts to heat, starts to cool down, and if there's enough material staying in that spot, then it could reattach itself. And it will be a more brittle bond than the original, but it could still make things a little bit harder for you. So let's hope that our piece cuts all the way through. Not 100% sure if it is. I'm almost curious if it's having a harder time because of the color. If I had some black acrylic, I'm sure it would have cut right through. So Iron Bone Industries asked, so acrylic is safe to laser. I thought it was like PVC and gave out harmful smoke. So acrylic, 100% acrylic is safe to cut. PVC is 100% not safe to cut. PVC is very dangerous. It'll release like chlorine gas. It'll release some literally mustard gas, like chlorine chemical, which is super toxic and could kill you. So be aware of that, guys. But yeah, you don't want to cut PVC. You can cut acrylic. You just don't want to cut any like acrylic mixes, right? Just be sure that you're cutting 100% acrylic. You don't want to play around with that. So even if this didn't cut all the way through, I'm going to take it out and we want to just assess what we're working with here and see what's happening, if there's anything we can do to help our file here. So we can double check things as soon as it finishes up here. So it's a 2-minute and 30-second file. And if we want, we can even cut it out of this wood just to double check our file, and then we can see if it's actually the acrylic that's causing the issue or the wood. So yeah, so it looks like we are having some trouble cutting all the way through. And I think it might even be the problem that we talked about, because the bottom is almost cutting all the way through, but then parts of it is reattaching. See if I can show you guys a better view. So you guys see here, let me see if I can manually focus this. Okay, you guys see that? Let me show you the back. So you can see it wants to cut all the way through, but it's just having a little bit of trouble here. Let me focus it back on me. So two things I'm going to try is I'm going to try cutting on the matte side, because I think the matte side will actually laser, like it'll absorb more of the power. See, like I told you, this is like a light color, so obviously, and this was a more gloss side that the laser was hitting, so it might have been bouncing off some of that heat and wavelength of the laser. So I'm going to try doing the matte side this time and seeing if that makes a difference. And then our final test would just be running it on some 1/8 wood, because usually these materials cut with the same power setting. Like you can cut 3mm or 1/8 inch Baltic birch and 3mm 1/8 inch or 1/8 inch acrylic, opaque acrylic, with usually the same power setting. So we'll see if we're running into that. So first, let's see if just changing it the matte side will help this absorb more power. Let's go ahead and do that. So let's. Iron Bone Industries from CNC. Yes, the 7-watt is the only one. Oh, sorry, Scott. Hello, I'm new to CNC and the laser. I'm still setting up the long mill at the moment. I have a 7-watt laser. Is that the only size available, or is there a more powerful one in the works? We are working on a standalone CO2 laser CNC. So in terms of attachments for the long mill, yes, currently that is the most powerful thing we offer. There are other companies that do offer more powerful attachments. We are looking to release something for the standalone CO2 CNC market, probably Q3, Q4, probably Q3 of this year, but you never really know with product development. We'll keep you guys posted. Definitely check out our email list. We have a CO2 email list. If you go to our YouTube channel and go to the announcement video, the dev announcement video, you'll get the link in the description of that video, and you can sign up and stay up to date to that. But thank you, Iron Bones, for helping answer that question. Greg, yes, that is one of the techniques that sometimes if you put masking tape, because it is matte, it will absorb more of the heat, and it'll keep your cutting a little bit fresher. You won't have that. Sometimes it can save you the charring that sometimes happens. But luckily, one side of my acrylic is gloss, one side of my acrylic is matte. So maybe I flipped it. So when I run this job again, I might be able to show you the difference there. So let's see, we'll zero it here. And let's run it again. So let me show you guys the so I do think the flipping to the matte side will help, but you never really know. We'll find out, and then we will. I might have my coaster, my green acrylic coaster that I cut out. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I might want to try that because it's the same thickness as this material. It's just a darker green, which probably absorbs the laser's wavelength a little bit better. So what I'll do is I'll try running the same file on Baltic birch, 3mm, same thickness, and then I'll run the same file on that green acrylic and see if that makes a difference. So we're kind of looking for the light to start burning underneath our material to see that we cut all the way through. Sorry, I'm just trying to detangle this because I think I made a knot in the chain. And it's such a small chain that it's actually hard to detangle. Well, I have about 20 of these, so I will just detangle this later and grab a different one. Oh yeah, definitely I'll grab some tweezers. All right, so I'm gonna run it again before I give it another shot with a different material. So let me grab a different material here. So I have this 1/8 inch. If you guys remember a few live streams back, we did this right here. And we did it out of 3mm opaque acrylic. And so I want to see if we can maybe cut through this and see if that causes any issues. So it's a little bit bowed, but the design is so small that we shouldn't run into any issues. But I want to see if that'll affect it, and then I also want to see if I can cut it out of wood. So hopefully we get at least one necklace that we can make, whether it's out of green acrylic, the baby blue acrylic, or just 1/8 Baltic birch. Yeah, guys, just for reference, the black acrylic is going to work the best because it's going to absorb the most amount of heat, and it's going to reflect the least amount of the light of the laser. That's why usually when I'm cutting things out of acrylic, I'm usually using a black 1/8 acrylic, and I'm usually cutting things a lot easier. But I was able to cut this, if you watch a few live streams back, and we didn't really have any issues with that. I think I did add some extra passes as well. So and we shall see. All right, so we kind of ran into the same issue as before, where we are like almost cutting out, but not quite. Just missing a few areas there. So we're just like almost there, but not quite, where we can see the outline on the other end, but there's a few pieces that are missing. So if we want to just, what I do want to try is, because every time I rerun the project, so we grab our acrylic from Piedmont Plastic, but this stuff is actually, I'm still getting from a sample supplier that I got a sample pack over at the Lightburn experience that I went to end of October. So this stuff, but usually we go to Piedmont Plastics that we do our supplying, they supply us our acrylic. So what I wonder is, because I'm running it in two, I'm running it twice, but it has time to move elsewhere. I wonder if I just, lower speed, so 2.2 millimeters per second to 2, and then I just go to, 8, because I was running it 8 passes anyways. But this time it's going to do it all at once, so it doesn't have time to cool down, resecure, and then, I come back and try to do another 4 passes. Essentially 2 8 passes all at once might be best. So before I switch out the material, let's try that. So Shark V2. Let's try that out. So that's what I'm thinking right now. Is because we're so close, so I'm like, I have a feeling 8 passes would have been totally enough, but the fact that it's moving elsewhere at the end and then trying to do it and then coming back to it after some time has passed is definitely giving it enough time to cool down, where I think just going, kind of a little bit more buck wild, just all continuously, it's going to be a lot better. I do think that it cut better. Yeah, I do think that it cut better going through the matte side. So I'm gonna keep it on the matte side. And let's go ahead and run that. And let's see what happens. If it doesn't work, we're gonna try it on this. And if that doesn't work, we're gonna try it on this. And then at the bare minimum, I know it'll cut out of this just because the wood will it's a lot easier to cut than different colors of acrylic. So just be aware that even the color of your opaque acrylic will change the settings in which you need to cut. Yeah, so I think I was right. So I think we may be cutting all the way through, maybe. Oh, I think we were so very close. I saw the light peeking through, but I think it needed like one or two more cuts to make it all the way through the acrylic because I didn't see anything drop down. We shall see. If I need to run this one again, I might, just because I do want to get at least one off this color, because I do like this color. It looks nice. Again, I got this birch from the sample pack from the Lightburn experience. So I got this whole like bag of random materials. So I'll give them a shout out for you guys. I don't know if they ship to Canada. The conference was in Chicago, so for you guys in the US, you guys will definitely be able to check them out. But I think they're called Maker Stock. And this is where I've been like playing with a lot of the random materials that I've been using in the past live stream since I got back from the conference. So this stuff, it's like I don't really like using MDF, so I'm not using the MDF, and obviously I can't really use the clear cast acrylic, so I'm not using that stuff. But that is where I've been getting these little project materials that I've been running the past little bit, like the green acrylic and the 1/8 birch and all that stuff. So definitely check them out because it's been kind of cool just having this little pack and being able to experiment with all the different materials without having to buy like big sheets or figure that out. It's been nice to just figure that, grab some things, test them out, see if they're cool, and then if I really like working with them, then I can get more of that material on my own kind of time. Nope, we do not. We have our own. I made a very rough library on our resource section, going through birch, acrylic, leather, that's kind of stuff, paper, cardboard, all that stuff. You can use that as a. Hey, thanks for checking, Scott. So yeah, they do. So Maker, I forgot the company, but the one I got the acrylic from, I showed you guys the sign. They do ship to Canada. Scott just checked. Thank you for checking, Scott. For Lightburn does, yeah, sorry, we don't have our own purposeful library. We have it in our resources. So if you go to CNC Labs, our resources, you can see some very simple starting points. Or you can just watch all the LaserBeam lives I've done, or watch a particular one where we use a similar material to the one you want to use. And then you can see me, like I usually am dialing in settings. It's very rare, other than stuff like Baltic birch, like it's very rare where I'm using two pieces and the setting will just work perfectly every single time. Sometimes I do have to dial things in, unless I'm just repeating a job over and over again on the same material. Even moving from, like you guys have seen, from something like a green 1/8 inch acrylic to a blue 1/8 inch acrylic requires totally different settings. right? So, you know, use the settings we have on our resources as a starting point. Use the settings I go through on these live streams as a starting point, but you will have to dial things in for yourself. That's just the name of the game. You know what? I really want this to cut out. I really like this color. We put so many passes here. Oh, I think our Oh yeah, I think our shield actually bumped into the acrylic, so I think I messed up here. And I called it last time, yeah, because we're doing 8 passes, so I didn't measure out enough room here. So it's been moving our material, so that's my bad, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the job. So yeah, even with the first 4 passes, it didn't get all the way through, so you know, that sucks, but just be aware that the color of your acrylic will dictate what you can cut. So I'm very curious to see. First, let's rectify our mistake so it doesn't happen again. So why did that happen? Because I added 8 passes, but I didn't change the Z-step per pass. So I'm just going to change that to 0.35 if we're keeping with 8. And I'm going to save that G-code as Shark V3. And then we're going to give it another try on this material right here. And if that doesn't work, we're going to give it one last try on the Baltic birch. Close this G-code file. Yes, we will open up Shark V3. You know what? I'll actually want to run it on the birch because I know for a fact it probably will work just fine on the birch. So at least I'll have one little thing. I'm either even gonna just raise the Z up just by 1, or actually I'll leave it the same. Just turn our move that a little bit. I might have been out of focus, guys. Yeah, I might have been out of focus, guys. I'm gonna be very honest here. I'm just gonna remove my air assist here again. Let's just dial in our focus. All right. My nozzle is going to trip up the wood. So I do think I need to raise my material and then refocus it. Yep. So I'm way too close. Even there, I'm way too close. That looks pretty good, but we're gonna refocus now. Ah, yes, now I can actually see it. All right. So I'm gonna zero it all, turn this off, and let's see how many passes it takes. I might have been out of focus this entire time. One pass. Two passes, guys. It took two passes to cut the middle circle out. I'm gonna lower the power just because I'm burning my material at this point. Yeah. So you can see the difference when things are working. Let's see if that's material or passes. Yep, Bill, I'm still using the G2 here. So it only took two passes for that to cut the 1/8 birch because the material is elevated. So I have to believe that I was completely out of focus before. That's the only reason it wasn't cutting even this acrylic. So we'll give it another try. Let's see. Let's see if we can get a cut through in two passes. Maybe three. It is a little bit more of an intricate cut, but I think we'll get there. Seeing the light pour all the way through, so it's probably just small pieces that are still attached. So we're cut past three. I think we cut all the way through after this, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna get ready to stop the job. Oh, there we go. So 2.5 passes. And we cut all the way through. So we have our first little... I have not tried the 3-element lens to cut the acrylic, but maybe that's something I could try in the future. But as you can see, cut all the way through. That was 2 passes for the circle, 3 passes for the entire outside shape. So let's see if we got our hole sizing, because I did guess that. I put like 4 millimeters, which is going to be big enough, so it is. So we got our first little necklace here. And then just because I was totally out of focus, guys, I need to get my focus finder back. I lost it, and I've been using like measuring tape, but it's so much easier just to use the focus finder because you just put it there and drop it down until you touch the material. It's so much easier. But as you guys can see, we have our first little necklace. This one was in birch. We'll see if the ultimate issue was the color of the acrylic or the fact that I was out of focus. We'll find that out in a very short amount of time. So let's figure this out. So I'm going to go to 0. And then I'm going to shine the laser just to make sure I am all good. I think that's good. And then I'm going to go ahead and 0 all. And we can start that right now. So let's see how long it takes. So it's either the acrylic or it wasn't in focus, or the color of the acrylic or wasn't in focus. So that's 2 passes. All right, that's 3 passes. That's 4 passes. So maybe it was just this color is a little bit too bright. It doesn't want to absorb the power, because you just saw the birch cut through with the same file in 2 passes. I feel like we're so close to cutting all the way through here. I'm starting to see the light come out of the bottom. Oh, we were so close. You know what? I'm starting that again because we are so close. I feel like I can cut all the way through. So I'm going to go to 0 and I'm starting that one again because I see the light coming out of the bottom. And it's just like, oh, we're so close. We can do this. Oh, I see it. It's cutting. There's just a little stick point. Doesn't want to cut all the way through. Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure it will. Because I'm seeing the laser at the bottom, but the piece just doesn't want to fall. I feel like it's like cooling so fast that it doesn't want to cut all the way through. Like it's remelting or it's reattaching itself. All right, no, we gave it our best try. We're gonna do this one, and then we're calling it a stream. The laser was like firing all the way through. Bill, I should check out CNC Labs, guys. I should. I was being lazy. I'm being lazy. I should. I think I even put some in my bag because I knew I was gonna need some, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll definitely come back. I'll definitely grab some for the next stream. But I'm gonna try the same file on this and see how long it takes, and then we're gonna get out of here. Kevin Job, okay. You're asking the guy who designed it if it's a good laser. Of course I'm gonna say it's a good laser. It's a great laser. It's a great CNC machine. It's a great laser. We give great customer service. But you know, you're gonna make your own decision. So do some research. Check out our LaserBeam Lives. It's a 7-watt laser. It's true 7 watts, tested with a very expensive laser power meter. So don't worry, we're not lying about how much power this thing outputs. It's not a perfect laser, but it's definitely great for the price when you consider all the other, you know, high quality laser manufacturers like Opt Laser, Endurance Lasers, and JTech Lasers are very, are a lot more expensive for their 7-watt lasers. Honestly, no, I don't think so, because it's been like weeks, and I feel like he would have got sick, or I would have noticed it in his poop, or yeah, because the acrylic, oof, that would have been painful to pass the sharp acrylic. I feel like I would have noticed. Yeah, it doesn't want to cut this. Does not want to cut this. I want to see if it'll cut this though. I'm very curious to see if it'll cut this. And then after that, I'm getting out of here. Okay, my internet's not working. I've been hotspotting this entire stream. I think I'm gonna get out of here after this. But at least we got our little birch one. Maybe next time I'll continue and I'll make some more designs. Maybe we can play with some other design features in Lightburn. I did like that part of this stream. And then we can get some black acrylic, and then we can make a bunch more of these for our next stream. Because black acrylic will cut so much easier than these lighter colored acrylics. But hopefully we can at least get a piece out of this. Kevin, it's not that we're not happy with the laser. They're just two different. They're two completely different products. Good night, Dana. Thanks for joining us. Thank you very much, Kevin. The thing is that they're designed to do two different things, right? Because this laser is a 7-watt laser, diode laser, and it's attached to a CNC router. So just the fact that it's an attachment already means like it's not 100% made exactly for doing laser jobs, right? Because it's going to be an attachment. It's turning a CNC router into something that can do two things, right? So it doesn't have to do the lasering like perfectly, you know, to be worth it for most people who already have a CNC machine to be like, oh, I can just add this and do some really cool things. But for anybody who knows that like lasering is their one job and it's like their primary and using the router is their secondary job, then you would flip that. You would want a CO2 laser because it is a laser first machine. It's a laser first and laser only machine. 10 times the power, 10 times the speed. Like it's like trying to hammer a nail with a screwdriver. It doesn't mean screwdrivers are bad. It just means you're using the wrong tool to get the job done. But this is almost like a 2-in-1, right? It's like an add-on. So you're getting more value out of a machine that you already own or a machine that you primarily wanted, a router, but now you're getting the ability to do laser machines. So it's just two different customer sets. So some people would buy a long mill and would never buy a laser attachment. Some people would buy a long mill and then eventually buy a laser attachment because it's cool and you can do some extra cool things. Some people would buy a CO2 laser but would never buy a CNC router, right? So it's just two different customers. Hopefully that explains something, explains some things. All right. I am going for it. I am going for it. Let's see if it'll work on this material. This is the last one. After this, we are ending our stream. And we will continue this project on the next LaserBeam Live. Thank you all for joining us. Do appreciate you guys. Oh yeah, it's definitely the material. We just cut through in 2 passes, guys. We cut through this green stuff in 2 passes. Thank you very much, Jack. 2 passes, guys. Take that in, just like the Baltic birch. We cut the dark green acrylic in 2 passes. So, guys, just keep that in mind. That when you are dealing with different color acrylics, they're going to absorb different amounts of power. So, on the Baltic birch, we were able to cut through the circle part of our design in 2 passes. And on the dark green acrylic, we were able to cut through our circle in the design in 2 passes, right? So those settings line up, right? So I was even talking to Scott earlier, and I told him, like, hey, the acrylic settings usually line up to the Baltic birch settings by around 1 pass difference. But now I'm going to add a caveat when I tell people this, is that it depends on the color. If you're dealing with super dark colors, it probably will line up 1-to-1, right? So black acrylic, dark green, maybe even dark blue, unless there's some issues with the blue light of the laser not absorbing the blue light or the blue material of the acrylic. So I'm gonna have to do some more research on that. But yeah, so usually if it's dark, let's remove blue from that. I'll have to test blue to make sure and do some Googles in the forum to make sure, because the light of the laser is blue, so I can imagine there might be some funky stuff happening. But other dark colors, you're gonna have no problem cutting through. Like, we have no problem cutting through. That only took 2 passes to cut it out, and we'll see if we have, so this is our 3rd pass, I believe, on the main design. So we should just about be cutting on our 3rd, or at least maybe 1 more. I want to keep an eye on it, wait for it to drop. And boom. So it only took 3 passes, so just like the Baltic birch. So it matched the settings of the Baltic birch 1-to-1. So guys, be aware of the color of acrylic that you're trying to cut, because this one cut perfectly. Yeah, so if you have a long mill, you're primarily a CNC user, then adding a 7-watt laser for 460 bucks Canadian is a really good deal. It's going to be really good. You're going to use your router to cut things and mill things and do all sorts of cool things, and then you can use your laser as an add-on to engrave really cool things, do some cool signage, maybe make some really cute little products or projects that maybe you're just having some fun. But let's say you were going to make like 100 of something, you might do it with the CNC router part of your long mill. And then maybe if you're just having fun, you're experimenting, you're making these cool random things, you might test out some certain projects on the laser, or you're just using it to add an accent. You know, maybe you're doing presents for people, and then you use the laser to do your logo at the bottom, or put a special note to somebody. So yeah, guys, there we go. Success. Just be aware of the color of acrylic that you're cutting, so you don't drive yourself insane like I did. Guys, this has been another LaserBeam Live. We have persevered. The name of this episode should be Persevered. Our internet issues, we persevered through that. We hotspotted. I don't think we had any issues. Nobody complained. Everybody said it was good in the beginning, so that was amazing. We're using the wrong type of color for this acrylic. I'm sure we would have cut if we just like kept passing, like 100 passes. Who cares? But that's not realistic. Okay. But we figured that out through testing and troubleshooting, and now we have some cool stuff, you know, to show for it. So this has been LaserBeam Live, episode number 36. My name is Ikenna Ofoha for CNC Labs, and whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. I'm going to have some dinner, walk my dog, maybe go to the gym, and call it a night. Thank you so much. Iron Bone Industries, thank you so much. Scott, thank you so much for joining. You're super helpful. Kevin Job, thank you for joining and asking questions. It's always good to ask questions. We are always willing to answer. Greg, thank you so much for the same. Scott Hedberg, thank you so much. Yes, we will do the offset very, 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 very soon. We're getting a co-op student in, and his first job is actually going to be to make resources for the Vortex LaserBeam mount, which will include all the offset stuff. Alan, thank you for joining us. Jack in the Shop, thank you. Dana, I think he already left, but thank you so much. Nicholas, thank you so much. Bill, thank you. Yeah, you guys are the absolute best. You guys make this worth it. Steve, Eric, all you guys, thank you so much. I'm going to call it a night. You guys all have a great, 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 great night. Oh yeah, guys, if you want the offset thing, go to our YouTube channel and watch Scott's coaster video on CNC Labs YouTube, where he does use the offsets, and he does a laser plus router job, and he does it all in one to create some really cool stuff. So go check that out on the YouTube channel. Okay, that's my last shout out. You guys have a great night, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Bye.